Part 3 of Full Court Press Basketball Debate, March 12th, 2015. A very shocked Chris Guyette here with a very shocked Yvonne Juno. I'd like to start this article by commending commending Royce Young, Oklahoma City Thunder basketball writer. Had an article produced. You heard it in part 2. We were talking about it. We read it between these two parts. Extremely well-written article. Great job. We commend you. Very good job. Very good job. We pick up with some game analysis from this past week. The Cavs rout Dallas behind LeBron's 27 points. If you look back to last week, this was a 37-point Cavaliers win in Dallas. Yvonne,
what night was that?
Oh, it was either the win Tuesday.
Night.
Okay.
Cleveland 127, Dallas 94.
Yes. How surprised were you by this outcome?
I'm never surprised when Cleveland wins. I'm never surprised when Cleveland wins at all. I am, however, I was a little taken aback, not going to lie to you, by a 33-point win.
Not shocked that the Cavs won. I picked them to win.
So did I.
But this
That's
is the largest
big point spread.
The largest home defeat in the Dirk Nowitzki era for the Dallas Mavericks.
I picked the Cavs to win.
Why is that historic?
God.
Why is that historic? Because Dirk Nowitzki has played for the Dallas Mavericks for 18 years.
Has it been that long?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the only thing you can say.
And the last stat I'm going to put out there is that the Cleveland starters in this game, out of those 127 points, 124 or 127? 120, whatever it was. Out of those points, the starters had 108 of them. That says that Cleveland starters can score, but what does that say about their bench?
Well, wait, how long did the starters play?
35 to 38 minutes.
So they played almost the entire game.
Well, I mean, but the bench had minutes too.
It was 127 to 94.
108 of those 127 points came from the starters.
Then they played a long time.
Must have.
Okay, but then now I have a question. Sorry to interrupt you. When you're already beating a team by more than 20, 25 points and you're in the fourth quarter, that's adding insult to injury. Shouldn't you sit your starters down and let them rest and save them?
Maybe they did. I don't remember.
Or are you trying to prove a point to see how many points you can get? Because if that's the case, then shame on them.
Well, the point is, it never should have gotten to that.
No, I agree.
That's just...
I agree. Wow. Yeah.
So, which of these teams do you trust more come playoff time?
Well,
and
Cleveland.
why?
Cleveland. Besides the fact that LeBron's on the team, okay, Cleveland can get the job done. This is not the first elite and big team that they have beaten, maybe not this badly, but they can do what needs to be done to get the job done.
Tough for me to say because I'm so much about experience when it comes to the playoffs, and I think experience holds so much value in the playoffs.
Sure.
And people, I got all kinds of bull crap about it when we were debating about this last year in the playoffs as to why I thought the Spurs were going to win the finals because they had experience. And they're like, that doesn't mean anything. Well, they proved all of y'all wrong and proved me right.
Right.
So I know for a fact that experience holds a very big edge in the playoffs.
Well, but
and
yeah,
if Dallas, and if
Yeah,
Dallas,
but Cleveland is not a brand new team with brand new
well,
rookies.
wait a minute. If Dallas has anything over Cleveland, it is the experience factor. I say that because I don't trust David Blatt in the playoffs. It is his first year. Let's not forget that. Okay? And let's not forget all of the early issues we had with David Blatt coaching this team. And we
Okay.
know that the playoffs is a whole new season. Okay?
But we have also discussed more than once on the air and off the air who's really running that team
Okay,
on the
and
floor.
I get it. But has Kyrie
Okay.
Irving ever been to the playoffs?
No.
Okay. Iman Shumpert never been to the playoffs. J.R. Smith been to the playoffs a couple of times. Never had great success. Kevin Love has never been to the playoffs. Okay. LeBron is basically the only one. So, LeBron and Mike Miller. So, how well are they? Because the playoffs are a whole new season. It's a whole new dynamic. It's a whole new mindset. Where's
It's the
Cleveland's
best of the best.
Where is Cleveland's head gonna be? I trust Cleveland more because I believe they're a better team. But I want to know where their heads are gonna be come playoff time because they've never played together under that head coach in this kind of environment, in this kind of atmosphere, together.
I understand that, but you got to start somewhere.
You do. But Dallas has been here. Dallas has done that. Dallas has the experience. It's tough for me to say.
And Dallas is older.
They are. So is San Antonio.
Yeah, you're right.
San Antonio's older than Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't stop them.
No,
But I think San Antonio's better than Dallas,
I do too.
which has a lot to do with it.
Mhm.
So, tough for me to say.
And the coaches. Let's don't forget about who's
tough,
coaching.
tough for me to say. Because I think experience holds the most value over everything in playoffs. But I'm going to side with Cleveland here. Because LeBron's got that experience. It's going to be interesting. I can't wait for the playoffs. San Antonio cruises past Toronto for its 6th straight win. What, if anything, did this game prove to you?
San Antonio is nothing to be sneezed at. They're not washed up. They're not a bunch of old men. They still know what they're doing. They still know how to play basketball. And the worst possible mistake that you could make in your life is underestimating San Antonio, because as far as I'm concerned, they could win this all over again, and I'll look for it to happen. I said that at the very beginning on the first televised
did
thing that we did
We said this in the preseason debate.
That's right.
We agreed. We agreed 100%.
That's right. They've had a few rough bumps in the road. They've had a few rough spots. They've fallen off the grid a little bit, but they came right back. But look at them now. Do not underestimate
I'm going to
the Spurs.
I'm going to give you a couple of quotes. I'm going to give everybody out there a couple of quotes. San Antonio is old.
According to basketball standards.
San Antonio is washed up. San Antonio is not going to repeat. San Antonio...
Oh, you're quoting now.
I'm quoting people
okay.
that I've heard. San Antonio does not have what it takes. San Antonio is not the same as last year. And I'm going to throw 5 rings at you. And I'm going to throw the fact that they were the underdogs in last year's finals against the Miami Heat.
Mm-hmm.
and they beat them 4-1.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to throw at you that San Antonio is no ordinary 7 seed. And San Antonio is peaking at just the right time. If you peak too early in the season, you got nowhere to go but down.
I agree.
If you
I think a lot of this was strategy.
If you peak right in the middle of the season, you could go up or you could go down.
I think a lot of what happened in the beginning of the season was strategy.
But San Antonio got just enough wins
Uh-huh.
to keep them in the conversation.
Uh-huh.
Whether intentional or unintentional, we'll never know. Do I think San Antonio purposely lost games? No. Not for 1 second, I don't.
I don't think Pop would let that happen.
But it's March.
Mhm.
We are a month and
Mhm.
2 weeks from the playoffs. We are 6 weeks from the playoffs.
Mhm.
As sad and as weird as that is. And San Antonio has a 6-game win streak.
Mm-hmm.
Other teams are looking around the
That
league right
didn't
now.
just happen overnight.
Other teams are looking at them right now and saying, oh, wait. They did win the title last year, right? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they did.
Yeah.
And you still got to go through them if you want to win the championship this year. I said it in the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
I said it when the finals ended last year. That this team was going to do it again this year. And I am sticking by it. I have not wavered from it. I have not even thought about wavering from it. They're going to do it again.
I said it in the first show.
So how much do you trust both of these teams in the playoffs? San Antonio, it's a given. We've basically said how much we trust them in the playoffs just now. Tell me about Toronto. What do you think about them in the playoffs?
I can't make that determination right now. We got too many games to go.
Well, okay, but it's pretty obvious that they're going to make the playoffs. They're the 2 seed.
Mhm.
Okay? How much do you trust them going into the playoffs? How well do you think they might do in the playoffs? Because it's obvious that they're going to make it.
I don't think it's going to be a sweep in any way, shape, or form. Depending on who they're up against.
Right now, you're looking at a team like either Charlotte or Brooklyn or Miami.
There's a big difference between those 3 teams.
But that's the Eastern Conference.
I know.
It's a toss-up right now. And we'll debate on it. That's one of the last things we do today. We'll debate on what we think is going to happen in that East.
If it's one of those 3 teams that you just mentioned, Miami I'm not too sure about.
I think they could beat Miami. In a 7-game series without Chris Bosh, I think they can beat Miami.
But if Chris comes back
He's not coming back this year.
at all,
He's
That's definitely-
out till September.
gonna go at least 5 or 6 games.
I'm going to tell you something about Toronto. They're one of those teams that just doesn't go away.
Mhm.
They fight, they grit, and they grind. And they are a tough team to beat. Especially at home in the Air Canada Centre. Okay? I see them making it past the first round, no matter who they play. Because they're going to have home court advantage.
It's gonna take
Okay.
at least 5 games though.
Depending on who they play. Because
Right.
you see, I think if they play Charlotte, I think they can sweep Charlotte. Especially if Al Jefferson's injury is anything serious.
Oh, I forgot about
I
that.
think they can sweep Charlotte. Okay? They're not going to sweep Miami because
No.
you don't sweep Dwayne Wade. Okay, that's going to be a 6-game series. Okay, I can see that easily. But again, I think they can win it. The problem comes in the second round when you face a Washington, when you face a Chicago, when you
Right.
face a Cleveland. That's the test. I see Toronto in the second round maybe even in the conference finals. Maybe. Again, you're right, depending on who they play.
Right.
Depending on how the seeding stacks up.
Right.
But I can definitely see Toronto getting past the first round. I can almost see them in the conference finals because they have a lot of fight. They have a very good team.
I do not see them beating Chicago if Derek comes back and
No,
Butler
I
comes
don't.
back.
But I see them
and,
making it to that point.
Okay, granted, but they will not beat them.
No, I don't think they
Not
will
if
either.
Derek, not if the injured people come
I
back.
think even without Rose that Chicago would beat them. Even without Rose, I think they would
But
beat
especially if Derek.
them. Yeah,
comes
I
back.
agree. I agree. But I like what Toronto brings to the table. They fight hard. They're a good team. They're going to be tough to beat. Anthony Davis ties career high
Yay!
with 43 points in the win over Milwaukee. Yvonne, how big was this win for the Pelicans?
Oh my God, it was so awesome. It was so awesome, and I was so scared the entire time I was watching the game that he was going to re-injure himself all over again because the boy just don't know when to quit. And honestly, if he's hurt, I think he tries to play through the pain. And as admirable as that might be, sometimes it's not wise. He's like a fighter. He's like a boxer in the ring. You knock him down, he gets right back up. I think he's awesome.
I'm just going to say one thing.
And he's 22! He's 22!
Please, let's not forget, I know all the talk is on Steph Curry.
He's a kid!
I know all the talk is on Steph Curry and Russell Westbrook and James Harden and LeBron.
He's a year and a half older than you!
Anthony Davis.
Is a force to be
Please
reckoned
don't
with.
forget that this guy was in MVP talks. And he is reminding everybody, hey, I'm still here. And how big was this win for the Pelicans? Well, pretty big considering we won this game and we beat Brooklyn.
Yep.
And OKC's loss last night puts the Pelicans in the playoffs.
Yay!
Sole 8th spot belongs to the New Orleans
Oh,
Pelicans.
we just have to hold on to it.
Yes, we do. We have Denver coming up on Sunday night. So how much of a chance do you give the Pelicans to get the 8th seed?
We keep playing like we're playing, we have a very good chance. We keep playing like we're playing. If nobody else gets hurt, we have a very strong, solid chance. It just depends. There's too many games ahead of us to be able to predict that kind of thing. But what is the stat right now on Anderson?
Ryan Anderson will be back. You're looking at probably a week and a half or so.
And Drew.
Drew should be back for playoffs if we make it.
And Tyreek.
Tyreek should be back Sunday. The ankle sprain was not very severe.
Really?
But he sat out against Brooklyn precautionary, and we still won by 20.
Hey,
we still won by
no
20.
problem.
So
No problem.
he should be back Sunday.
If Anthony gets hurt again, okay, or God forbid something happens to my boy Eric, we're in trouble. We may lose that seeding.
Well, let's not even take injuries into account here. If OKC goes on a win streak. Now, well, wait a minute. Not the position that OKC's in right now is the position we were in.
I know that.
Not
We
only
flip-flopped.
does OKC have to win, we gotta lose.
I know that.
And keep in mind that
We flip-flopped.
we don't have to necessarily have a better record than Oklahoma City.
Right.
If we tie, we're in because we've beaten the Thunder 3 out of 4 times this season. That is huge.
Yeah,
That is huge. So I give the Pelicans a good chance
absolutely.
to get that 8th seed, and that's just being realistic.
Absolutely.
The problem with getting that 8th seed is you play the 1 seed, and
Yeah.
the 1 seed is Golden State. But I think that we're going to give Golden State problems.
So different.
Because
And I think that not to interrupt you, I think that difference is to our benefit. They play so different from us. We play so different from them. We can play better in the paint than they do, but they got us on the 3-point shots. Okay? It will be so exciting and interesting to watch. I could not predict that, but I can see if we keep it tight, if we keep a handle on it, and we keep it to where we're moving the ball fast, and we can keep those mid-range shots or corner shots from being made by staying defensive. We got to work on our defense. If it gets down to where we have to play Golden State, defense is going to be just critical. Because if Curry gets a chance to run over in that corner and make that 3-point shot, or Thompson or whoever, if they get to make those shots, they're going to beat us. They're going to. That's what they're good at.
the problem is not how many three-pointers they make.
Right.
It's how efficient they are in making those three-pointers.
That's why we have to stay on them, and we have to work on our defense if that happens.
See, Golden State doesn't like to be touched.
I know.
They don't like contact.
No. And they don't like you to get in their face.
We embrace contact.
That's what I'm
When's
talking
the last time you've seen Tyreek Evans pass up a drive to shoot a three-pointer? Never. Eric Gordon, same thing. Mind you, Eric Gordon, I don't know if you know this or not, Eric Gordon this season, third in the league in three-point percentage. Third in the league.
I love
Okay?
it.
So
I love me some Eric Gordon.
So I wouldn't count us completely out of the three-point game.
Eric,
we have our own guys that can shoot threes.
Until Anthony came back, Eric was carrying the team more or less.
Him and Tyreek Evans, yeah.
They were carrying the team.
See, they don't like contact.
No, I know that.
When's
the last time you saw somebody get in Klay Thompson or Curry's face that they just did not absolutely freak out?
Right.
They don't like it.
No, they don't like it.
Don't come up on me and try to and guard me and wrap your arms up, put your hands up in the air and where they don't like it.
No, they don't like it.
They don't like it at all. And we're good at that. And we have to stay good at that.
Speaking of Golden State, Atlanta and Golden State are the first teams this season to 50 wins. Which of these two teams is more dangerous in the playoffs?
Oh my God.
And why?
That's a hard question. They're so different. It goes along with what we were just saying. It depends on who they're going to play. Oh, you mean in the playoffs in general as a whole?
Which team is more dangerous?
Atlanta. Even after what they did last night. Atlanta.
Do you have a reason behind that?
Because they're better all-around players.
Bingo.
They're better all-around players.
Bingo.
They don't just have to rely on their three-point shots to win the game.
Bingo.
They're better all around.
I
don't know what happened last night.
I've said for years that the problem with Atlanta was that they were missing their heart and soul. As good as Jeff Teague is, as good as Kyle Korver is, as good as Paul Millsap and DeMar Carroll and Shelvin Mack and all these guys have been this year, Al Horford is the key to their success. Their big man out of Florida. He was injured. They weren't the same. He's back, he's healthy, and they have 50 wins.
I don't know what happened.
Something there.
Well, the fluke of last night just kind of threw me. But, hey, they play Saturday night.
Yep.
And they play Phoenix.
Going to be a test.
And I have them as my pick, and so do you.
Going to be a test, though.
If they can't beat Phoenix after what just happened, something's wrong.
I wouldn't say something's wrong because Phoenix is not a shab of a team, and they're good at home. but it's going to start raising questions as to where, okay, why isn't Atlanta winning these games that they were winning before the All-Star break? It's going to start raising questions. But make no mistake, Atlanta is Atlanta, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, alright. But honest to God, no offense, people out there, who's better, Denver or Phoenix?
Well, Phoenix without question. But you're
But
also...
but Denver beat
okay,
them
but you're
by
also...
13 points.
Okay, but you're also not... You're also not considering that we're not looking at the same Phoenix team we were looking at before.
Denver beat Atlanta by 13 points.
But is Phoenix
in Denver?
But is Phoenix really better than Denver now that they don't have Dragic or Thomas? Can we say that for sure?
No, that's a good point.
Sure, they have Brandon Knight.
Yeah,
sure they have Eric Bledsoe.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But are they really better than Denver? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's a very valid point.
They look pretty even to me right now.
Yeah, that's a
Denver's
valid
winning
point.
games. Phoenix is losing games.
Yeah.
Now Phoenix won last night against Minnesota, I believe, but I think it was Minnesota they played.
Yeah.
But I mean, come on.
106 to 97.
Come on. I mean, can we truly say that? I don't know.
But to see Atlanta go down to Denver by 13 points.
Well, to lose to Denver by 13 is not a big deal to me. The fact that you were down by 34 is a big deal to me.
And which brings up that ultimate question of if you were down by that much, how did you bring it back up and why weren't you playing like that all along?
Yeah, beyond me.
We'll know tomorrow night.
Yep. John
because
Greenberg.
Tomorrow night against Phoenix.
It's going to be a test. Phoenix
ask you a question before we move on to the next question. If they lost to Denver last night and then they lose to Phoenix, is there anything that's going to knock them out of the number one spot?
Not in the East. Mm-mm. They've got, I believe it's an 8.5 game lead between 1 and 2.
There's more than 8.5 games before the season is out.
Well, yeah.
Oh, they would have to lose almost every game?
They are the 1 seed. I mean, they are the 1 seed.
Do you think, even for a single solitary moment, and I hate to say something so negative, do you think for a single solitary moment that they already know they've got that number one spot and they're just not trying?
Not Atlanta. Not Atlanta. I don't see Mike Budenholzer saying that. I don't see the Hawks having that mentality. I don't.
Well, after the comment you told me that he made, by the way, would you like to repeat that?
No, that was Memphis.
Oh.
I don't see Mike Budenholzer having that type of, I don't.
That mentality?
I don't see that. It's a valid question, but I don't.
Because it would be so easy now that you know you're number one, just to lean back and say, okay, we're going to put forth some effort, but we're not going to give it 150% because we already know we got the number one spot.
We've seen it happen.
Uh-huh.
John Greenberg, writer for ESPN. Faith good, but Rose's work will tell. Now this article I did read.
Please tell me what he meant. What was he talking about?
There were people questioning when Derrick Rose was out with all of his injuries over the past couple of years, how much faith Rose had in the Chicago Bulls, how loyal he was.
Wait, how much faith Rose had?
In the Chicago Bulls.
In his own team?
Mm-hmm. There were people questioning that. Did he really want to?
He can leave anytime he wants.
No, he can't.
Well, there are people that would want him.
Yeah, but he can't. Lee's under contract.
How long's his contract good for?
2 years or so.
Okay.
Okay. There were people questioning, did he really want to be in Chicago? Did he really?
Does he want to play basketball?
And he's proven that he does this year. That's what he means by Derrick Rose's faith is good. But now that he's met with this latest injury, his work will tell where he's going to be come playoff time. How much work he puts into getting well before the playoffs is going to tell a lot.
I thought the surgery wasn't that big a deal, and he was
It was,
back in
but
the
you-
court.
But you still got to go through rehab.
I understand that,
And
but
you
he
still-
was back in the court watching him work out that same afternoon, and the next day he was in
But it's
rehab.
not necessarily just that. It's when he comes back. How much effort is he putting in? How much is he going all out? Is he putting the 100% max effort that he possibly can? That's what he's saying. That's what's going to tell where Derrick Rose's heart is.
We won't know that until we see him back on the court.
Okay, right. That's what he's saying.
Oh,
That's what's going to tell.
right.
Agree or disagree?
Agree.
And why?
Agree.
I don't think there's a better way to put it.
If you would have asked me that before the season started, after what happened last year, I'd have probably said no.
Right.
But watching him come back and the way that he was busting his butt out there on that court, I don't think for a moment, I think the man's got too much pride
Right.
not to go out there and give it 100%. I just think it's very, very, very unfortunate. And let's face it, you can't fake a meniscus tear.
Nope.
The x-rays show it. I know, I had one. I'm just very glad for his sake and for the sake of the naysayers and the doubters out there that it was not a full-blown reopening
Right.
tear that would have ended his career.
Right.
Because a duplicate tear on the same knee, that's nothing to sneeze at. That could have ended his career. Okay? And in the meantime, let's don't forget, he's not pulling those same stupid stunts that he did last year at this time. He's not going pose for GQ. He's not doing endorsements. He's not going out there making public appearances and all that when he was supposed to be resting and going to rehab.
Right.
He is working out. And when he was on that court before this last incident, he was busting his
Well, he
butt
looked
out
really
there.
good. Mhm.
Okay? And it's very difficult for me to be this positive about Derrick Rose because last year I was very disappointed in him.
Mhm.
Okay? So, yeah.
I mean, this.
I think it's a very true statement.
It's a very good way to
and
put
I
it.
think we really will not know until we see what he can do.
Right. I agree. I agree. The Miami Heat say Chris Bosh will be ready to play in September. Your thoughts?
I don't know what to say.
I know exactly what to say.
I don't know what to say.
I know exactly what to say.
There's a part of me that says wonderful, congratulations, I think it's great. And there's a part of me that says, please don't push this man too hard. That was very, very serious what he went through. And if he re-injures himself, his career is over.
I think the Miami Heat realize as an organization how serious this was.
He's no spring chicken.
No, he's 31 years old, okay?
Now, according to every other profession under the sun, that's not old.
I think the Miami Heat organization as a whole, Pat Riley, all these guys, they realized how serious this was. And they know that there are they know that there are risks that are still there.
Absolutely.
But from a personal standpoint,
Wait a minute, he's going to be ready in September. That's at the beginning of the next training? Oh.
Mhm.
Well, I think we'll know when they start training.
I would like to say thank God that because it could have been worse.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It could have been a lot worse. I'm glad Chris is resting. He's at home for the rest of the season. Thank God.
Probably hating every minute
Oh,
of it.
probably. But he's where he needs to be right now.
Yeah.
I'm thankful that it wasn't more serious than it was.
But let's be perfectly honest. They could use him right now.
They could. They could. He's missed. He's missed.
They
I mean, he's
could
Chris-
use him right
He's
now.
Chris Bosh. I mean,
Attitude
come on.
or no
on.
attitude. His presence on the floor is missed.
Rajon Rondo, quote, "It is an honor that Kobe Bryant wants me as a Laker. Should Rondo even consider this? Why or why not?
That's not honestly a legitimate question.
Not from me, from First Take.
Who would not want to play with Kobe Bryant?
A lot of people don't want to play with Kobe Bryant.
Well, then they're insane.
Well, because they think his light shines too bright. They don't want to be in his spotlight.
Who would not want to learn from the best?
Not me. I agree with that.
Who would not want to learn from the best? Then shame on them.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I'd like to say to the audience listening out there that I was not aware of this statement until we were off the air a while ago between one of our breaks. And Chris brought this to my attention. Number one, the fact that Kobe said that he would like to have Rondo on the team is awesome. Number two, we already know Kobe said there's no doubt it, and why it even came up that he was not going back to play again is a moot point. And number three, Rondo saying that he thinks it's an honor that Kobe would want him to be a Laker. Of course it's an honor. Who would not want to hear that Kobe had said, hey, I'd love to see Rondo or John Brown or Chris Guyette or whoever on my team? Who would not want to play and be taught and be mentored by the best? I know I would. Where the problem's going to come in is that Rondo and Kobe, as much as they may want to work together, they're gonna butt heads. But Rondo should look at this as a learning experience. Kobe's not gonna be around for that much longer. Okay?
Oh,
And
don't say that.
I know that kills you. And I know.
My heart
I
just
know.
cracked right down the middle.
And I know why. One of the reasons. I make a prediction. Call me crazy. Rondo joins the team. They get a good big man. They win a ring. That's what Kobe's looking for. And Kobe's going to retire. I know you just stopped breathing.
Okay, wait.
Okay, now, will Rondo graciously accept and learn from Kobe without butting heads with him? No. Will Kobe tolerate that? No. I see Kobe backing this boy up in the corner and saying, or getting in his face, even on the court in the middle of a game, and saying, have you lost your mind? Don't do that. Do this. Do that. Mentoring him. Who they bring in as a big man is going to make a big difference too. If Rondo has one brain cell in his head, he will go.
I don't know from getting knocked down by Shaq in 2010 in the playoffs.
That's true.
That,
I know.
Whew.
If he's got a brain cell in his head, he is being given the gift of a lifetime on a silver platter.
Well, there. Okay, I agree. But let's keep in mind that Rajon Rondo is a highly intelligent point guard. He's a
But
very
he's a
good
hothead.
point guard. Wait. Hothead is the wrong word. It has been said that Rajon Rondo is not easy to coach.
Okay.
He is pig-headed.
Okay.
He has a hard head.
Okay.
And Rondo is good. He
Yeah.
doesn't have that much left to learn. He's got a ring. Okay?
Right.
He learned a lot from Paul Pierce
Absolutely.
and Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen and Doc Rivers.
Absolutely. He could not have joined a better team as a rookie.
So he does
to
not
learn.
have have a lot more to learn.
But he doesn't know it all yet.
But the one thing that he's still got to learn is that as pig-headed as Rajon Rondo is, Kobe Bryant's even more pig-headed.
Absolutely.
Kobe Bryant is the most pig-headed individual, the most stubborn son of a bitch, and I love him to death, but he's the most stubborn SOB, especially on the court, that I've ever seen play the game of basketball, and that is a compliment, because that involves work ethic.
Right.
Pig-headedness is nothing but work and effort, and that is what sets Kobe Bryant apart from all the rest, even Michael Jordan, in my opinion.
But he's
because
earned it.
I don't think even Michael Jordan had the work ethic that Kobe Bryant has, because
But
Michael
he's
Jordan
earned it.
because Michael Jordan never had an ACL tear.
Right. He's
Because he
earned
never
it.
had a severe injury.
He's earned it.
Kobe Bryant has earned everything that he's ever received. Now, from an analytic standpoint, if this happens, will be the greatest duo, the best offensive duo since Iverson and Carmelo. Add in the fact that I believe that Rondo is a top 3 defensive point guard in the entire league, and the Lakers need perimeter defense.
Absolutely.
Okay? And that is not a knock on Jeremy Lin.
No.
Because Jeremy Lin has been wonderful this year.
Right.
Very quietly,
Right.
but he's been wonderful.
Right.
Okay? And credit the Lakers for fighting, because they have nothing to play for right
Oh
now.
my gosh.
But they are fighting every night.
And they
Jordan
lost
Clarkson.
so much.
Right. And here's what everybody's overlooking. The X factor of this Rondo Kobe combo. The X factor. Byron Scott. Byron Scott has a history of coaching great point guards. Need I remind you of Chris Paul?
No.
He helped Chris Paul turn into a superstar in New Orleans.
Would you like?
Need I remind you that Byron Scott played with Magic Johnson as a Laker? Need I remind you that Byron Scott has 3 rings as a Laker? That is the X factor, because Byron Scott is a little pig-headed himself.
Oh yeah.
Okay? And what Byron Scott lacks in pig-headedness, Kobe has it and then some. Okay? Let this happen tomorrow. Let this happen tomorrow. Kobe and Rondo. Yeah, it'll be a rocky road. It will. Okay? But they tried to hook Kobe up with Dwight Howard and Steve Nash. Steve Nash fit perfectly. Dwight didn't because of his personality. And you know what? That's fine. Rondo is just tough to coach. Rondo does not have a bad personality. Dwight Howard just has a bad personality. Okay? Rondo does not have a bad personality. Rondo does not have a tough time.
He's cocky. He doesn't know everything, but he thinks he does.
Rondo does not have a tough time getting along with teammates. He has a tough time being coached. Well, Byron Scott will take care of that.
Chris and I came up with the perfect scenario. And we decided that if by some wild miracle this were to ever take place, we would sell a kidney to go to California to watch a game.
It'd be crazy. It would be absolutely crazy.
Okay, we got Kobe Bryant out there.
You got to think about all the free agents that you're going to have coming up this season.
Right.
Okay, and the Lakers have enough money with all of the free agents they're going to have, and
all the free money.
and all those expiring contracts, with the salary cap being raised to $90 million a team. The Lakers have the inept ability, my God, to have Rajon Rondo,
As their point guard.
Kobe Bryant,
Yep.
a returning Ray Allen.
Yeah,
because Ray's going to want 1 year.
And we could use that 3-point shooter, and then we're going to steal.
At the center spot, you're going to have Marc Gasol, whose brother Pau, if you know anything about basketball, won a ring with Kobe. So the Gasol name in Los Angeles is very fond. And then
we're going to offer enough money.
we're going to stick a guy in there that's not very well known. He's not very well known, but I have a feeling he might work well in the Lakers offense. His name is LaMarcus Aldridge. He's not very well known. He's not that great of a player. But we're going to stick him.
He is a great player.
That is total facetiousness coming out
Oh,
of me
you
right
were
now.
being a smartass. Okay.
It is oozing out of me.
Okay, sorry.
This
Would be the dream team.
would be the greatest team.
And we would sell kidneys to be able to go
I'd sell my head.
and watch play.
Portland's Wesley Matthews tears Achilles and is out for the season.
Oh.
Yvonne, how much does this hurt Portland?
He's got a torn
Torn
Achilles.
Yep.
It's torn completely.
It's torn.
Like they had to do surgery and
They're going to
repair
have to do
it?
surgery, but it's not a jagged tear. It's a straight line tear.
I don't care.
Well, it's better that it's straight line and not jagged.
You're right.
Rehab is less time. So he got lucky.
You know he may never be the same.
I know.
That Achilles tendon, it's not like an ACL or a meniscus. That supports your whole body. That's right above the heel of your foot. How in the world did that happen?
Came down wrong on his foot.
Oh my gosh. My prayers are with you, man. And of course it's going to hurt the team.
Well, let's start by addressing Wes Matthews. This guy, the consummate professional, a stand-out three-point shooter, just a great player. Did not deserve this.
None of them deserve to get hurt.
This. It's unfortunate.
Oh, yeah.
Just take care of yourself, Wes.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself. Support
Now,
your team.
tell me
what
how
I did like, they had a photo of him on Twitter. He put a photo up because he had the surgery already. He had it last night, in fact. When he was watching Houston and Portland in his hospital bed, he was wearing his jersey.
Oh, wow.
With his two shooting sleeves.
Wow.
While he was having the surgery. That's pretty cool. I like that. But take care of yourself, Wes.
Okay,
Support
now
your
let's
team.
talk about the team.
Analytically speaking, this hurts.
Oh, yeah.
But not as bad as you think it might. Because I said on deadline day, when they got the first thing that happened was Portland traded for Aaron Aflalo. And I told you when we discussed deadline day on here a month and a half ago, that is a jackpot trade for Portland. Because if something were to happen to Nick Batum, or if something were to happen to Wesley Matthews, you can stick Aaron Aflalo in either of those two spots, and he plays just like them. Here you go.
And look what happens.
So it doesn't hurt as bad as you think it might. And it's good that it happened now.
Yeah.
Because Aflalo has time to get completely
Absolutely
engaged
integrated with
into the offense before the playoffs. Good timing. I hate to see it happen. Take care of yourself. Come back stronger than ever. You're a great player. You're a great guy. Keep going hard. The Spurs beat the Bulls behind some guy named Tony Parker.
Some little guy named Tony Parker.
Scoring a season-high 32 points. And for the first time in 19 years, Tim Duncan did not have a field goal.
You know, you could have gone through the whole discussion today without having mentioned
No,
that.
I couldn't have.
Yeah, you could.
No, I couldn't
Because
have.
that's terrible.
It's terrible, but it's so vitally important. Tim Duncan did not have a field goal in this game.
He had 0 points.
For the first time.
Did he have any assists or
No.
rebounds?
He had points. He got points from the free throw line.
Okay.
But he did not have a field goal. Oh, he did his job rebounding. He did his job blocking shots.
Okay.
Shots just didn't go in for him.
Right.
He had points at the free throw line, though.
Okay.
But he did not make a field goal in this game. So, Ivana, I ask you, what, if anything, does this game prove to you?
Where Tim Duncan is concerned?
Where Tim Duncan is concerned, where the Spurs are concerned, where Tony Parker's concerned, anything, just general thoughts. What does the game prove to you?
Like I said earlier, the game proves to me very simply that these are not a bunch of old men on the court trying to prove something. They have not lost it. They are not to be taken lightly. They're still a force to be reckoned with. And I see them still being able to come back and win the whole thing. Tony Parker's Tony Parker. They're going to have to take him off that court on a stretcher.
This game showed me a lot, not only because of the fact that Tim Duncan was 0 of 8 from the floor.
That doesn't matter. If he did his job in a lot of other ways.
I agree, but usually he gives you 15 to 25 a game. So, I mean, that's...
Everybody can have an off night.
I agree. But it is big that scoring was missing.
But I'm not going to say anything negative about Tim Duncan.
It's bigger because of the team that they were facing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The fact that San Antonio still beat Chicago.
Yeah, but wait, I'm interrupting you. They beat a Chicago without Rose and without Butler and without Noah.
No, Noah played.
Noah played in that game?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Okay? And you're right. But it's still the Chicago Bulls.
Absolutely.
There are people out there that are going to hate what I'm about to say. There are people out there that are going to completely disagree with what I'm about to say, and you know what? That's all well and good. But I have said it since 2007 that the heart and soul of this team and that the engine that makes the San Antonio Spurs go is Tony Parker. Especially come March, April, May, and June. The big months. Tony Parker has huge games in the playoffs and in the months before the playoffs. He's known for this.
I think that's a two-part thing.
This guy is a former Finals MVP. What are we forgetting about this guy?
But I think there's more to it than just that. Let's don't forget who the coach is.
No, I agree. I agree. But the coach had absolutely nothing to do with Tony Parker scoring 32 points.
No, I agree
Tony
with
Parker
that.
realized that Tim Duncan was having an off day and completely flipped the script.
Uh-huh.
There are not a lot of
Not
guys.
without Pop's permission.
There are not a lot of guys
Who would do something like that.
that have the ability
Right.
to do that outside of Tony Parker.
And Pop's not
It
going to
is-
stand in his way.
It is huge. Oh, he has the green light.
Oh, absolutely.
Tony Parker has the green light
Absolutely.
in any situation.
Absolutely.
Because he's Tony Parker.
Right.
I mean, that's the Spurs, man. They peak at the right time. Tony Parker peaks at the right time.
Shame on anybody that says that they're washed up and they're a bunch of old men.
Lord have mercy. Golden State head coach Steve Kerr, quote, "It's not our job to promote Curry as MVP."
What were they asking him? What was he talking about?
They were
How did this
press
come
conference,
up?
obviously asking him about Stephen Curry and the MVP situation, and this was his response. Your thoughts?
My thoughts on, do I agree with what he said?
Yeah.
Well, of course I agree with what he said. Of course I agree with what he said. It's not their job to promote him as the MVP. It shouldn't be anybody's job. He earns that. His performance on that wooden floor is what earns him the nomination of being MVP.
He does his own promoting.
Exactly.
I agree.
As well as everybody else.
What impresses me the most about this is that Steve Kerr is a first-year head coach.
Right.
And he had the gall enough to say this.
The guts enough.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
I put this on here. This is not really that big of a deal, but I put this on here to show that this is going to make one hell of a head coach. I mean,
it's not any coach's job
that's right.
to promote a player.
They should do their own promoting on the court as far as the MVP award goes.
Yeah, because if that's the case,
Right. Yeah.
who's promoting Russell Westbrook?
Russell Westbrook's promoting Russell Westbrook.
But yet he's not even being considered.
Yeah, he is. Now.
Oh, now?
Now he is.
When did that happen?
When he started getting all his triple doubles.
No, because a week and a half ago you told me he was not even in the...
Well, he wasn't being considered by like ESPN and stuff like that, but there were people mentioning his name. But I don't know. Now I guess it's become a global sensation, and now he's being promoted as a candidate for MVP. So
Okay. Well, he's got his own clothing line.
well, good for him.
He's got his own clothing line now.
he's got enough money to
Have
do
you
it.
seen the advertisements
Yeah.
for him
Yeah.
wearing his clothing line?
Mm-hmm.
Let's hope he doesn't get so sidetracked that he loses
Right.
focus.
Right. Part 3 ends here. Part 4, final part, coming at you next.